In this video, we're going to talk about the CO process options and your rights and responsibilities when serving as a complainant or respondent in a CO investigation. Let's begin. First, who is CO and what do they do? The Office of Compliance, Ethics, and Equal Opportunity, or CO, is the Civil Rights and Compliance Office at UNM. CO's job is to respond to, and at times investigate, reports of discrimination or harassment based on a person's civil rights protected status or class as recognized by university policy, state, and federal law. CO has jurisdiction, or in other words, the authority to act over staff, faculty, students, and its affiliates at all UNM campuses, as well as other contracted agencies. Discrimination is conduct based on a protected class or status that excludes a person from participation in, denies the benefits of, treats the person differently than similarly situated individuals who are not in the protected class, or otherwise adversely affects the terms or condition of the person's employment, education, living environment, or participation in a UNM program or activity. Harassment and differential treatment are also forms of discrimination. A protected status is a trait or association recognized by law or policy as protected against unlawful discrimination. Under UNM Policy 2720, race, color, religion, national origin, ancestry, physical or mental disability, age for those aged 40 and older, sex and gender, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, pregnancy, veteran status, spousal affiliation, serious medical condition, and genetic information are recognized as protected statuses at UNM. CO also addresses allegations of sexual misconduct under UNM Policy 2740, which includes sexual harassment, stalking, dating violence, domestic violence, and sexual assault. Failure to report civil rights or sexual harassment concerns and retaliation are also matters addressed by CO. CO is a neutral, independent, and impartial entity. This means that CO does not advocate for complainants, who we call the people filing a complaint with CO, respondents, the people who are responding to a CO complaint, witnesses, or even UNM. CO's role is to inform individuals about their rights and responsibilities and gather information as it relates to a civil rights or sexual harassment claim. CO is the only UNM office tasked with investigating civil rights claims, unless the matter regards an alleged failure to report civil rights or sexual harassment concerns. CO does not determine policy violation. In the event of a formal investigation, UNM's hearing office may conduct an administrative hearing to determine if university policy has been violated. If a violation is found, Academic Affairs, the Office of the Provost, or Human Resources will determine the appropriate sanction. CO does not determine sanctions or discipline. However, CO monitors Title IX sanctions for fairness and consistency, as well as federal compliance. CO does not share information they obtain with others unless there is a legitimate reason to do so or to the extent that state and federal law allow. However, CO cannot guarantee confidentiality or afford anonymity to those who participate in the CO process. This is because CO's investigative information can be obtained through an Inspection of Public Records Act request, or IPRA request, or subpoena. These matters are addressed by the Office of University Counsel, or OUC. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, provides additional protections to student records. Under FERPA, CO cannot share information in a student's record unless they have written consent or the matter regards an exception, such as an imminent threat to campus safety or another legitimate educational interest. CO staff are trauma-informed, and for this reason will not report potential criminal activity disclosed in a CO investigation to law enforcement unless CO is made aware of certain circumstances that require CO to make a report. For example, an imminent threat to campus safety, or suspected abuse or neglect of a minor child. UNM maintains a policy of offering parties and witnesses amnesty from minor policy violations, such as underage consumption of alcohol or the use of other illicit drugs related to the incident. Amnesty does not apply to more serious allegations, such as physical abuse of another or illicit drug distribution. CO receives reports many ways: through telephone or in-office reporting, email reports to oeounm@unm.edu, or through website submission at co.unm.edu. When reports are received, CO first identifies the individuals involved and whether the report based its allegations on a protected status. In order to pursue a report, at least one party must be affiliated to UNM through employment, enrollment, or contract. Individuals who believe their civil rights have been violated at UNM or in a UNM program or activity may file a complaint within 180 calendar days from the most recent alleged discriminatory incident. This time frame may be extended due to the severity or pervasiveness of the allegations, such as sexual violence, allegations of a continuing pattern of conduct, or as determined by CO. Any complainant or respondent may obtain a support person. A support person is any person selected by the individual who attends CO interviews and helps to guide the party through the CO process. A support person cannot participate in the interviews, but may serve as a second set of ears for the person they are supporting. Anyone can serve as a support person so long as that person could not be identified as a potential witness in that investigation or be in the respondent's supervisory chain. A support person also cannot participate in a UNM administrative hearing. Student complainants may obtain a support person through one of UNM's advocacy centers: the Women's Resource Center, LGBTQ Resource Center, and Lobo Respect have confidential advocates who can serve in the support person role and will not share confidential information with CO. If a party would like to be connected with one of these advocacy centers, all they have to do is let their investigator know. Students can also access confidential resources at Student Health and Counseling, or SHAC. Student respondents may obtain a respondent support person through the Dean of Students' office. Respondent support persons are not confidential advocates. Staff and faculty parties may connect with confidential resources at ombuds or counseling assistance and referral services, otherwise known as CARS, for support. Graduate students may also contact ombuds for dispute resolution services. The university does not have identified support persons for faculty and staff. An advisor is a person chosen by a complainant or respondent or provided by UNM who acts as an advocate for the party during a UNM administrative hearing if one is held. An advisor acts as a party's representative during a hearing for the purpose of conducting cross-examination of witnesses and the opposing party. Each party must have an advisor for the hearing and are not allowed to have self-representation. Now let's look at how the CO process works. Here's the process CO follows when a complaint is made to CO. After receiving a report, CO will contact the complainant or complainants to inform them of their CO process rights, options, and responsibilities, including the availability of supportive measures. CO may ask questions regarding the CO report to establish the facts necessary to determine jurisdiction. The CO process is voluntary. Therefore, no one is obligated to provide a statement or respond to CO outreach. However, it is important to know that anything individuals share with a CO employee could potentially become part of an investigatory record or be independently investigated by CO. CO reserves the right to investigate matters reported to them, regardless of whether a party wishes to participate. Supportive measures may include counseling, extensions of deadlines or other course-related adjustments, modification of work or class schedules, campus escort services, mutual restrictions on contact between the parties, changes in worker housing locations, leaves of absence, increased security and monitoring of certain areas of the campus, and other similar measures. UNM will maintain any supportive measures provided to the complainant or respondent as confidential to the extent that maintaining such confidentiality does not impair UNM's ability to provide those supportive measures. A complainant has a few options regarding how they would like to pursue the CO complaint. A complainant may withdraw their complaint, request an informal resolution, or request a formal investigation. Following the initial process meeting with the complainant, the assigned CO investigator will provide a certification of election to the complainant so that they may document their process election. An informal resolution is an informal process where CO does not investigate the matter, and the allegations in the complaint are therefore neither corroborated nor contested. An informal resolution is not disciplinary in nature and in certain cases must be agreed upon by both parties before proceeding. In cases where there is a potential violation of Policy 2740, two conditions must exist. One, that both parties must agree to an informal resolution, and two, that the alleged conduct must not have been committed by a UNM employee against a student. A formal complaint is required to request an informal resolution for conduct alleging a violation of University Administrative Policy 2740. If CO accepts jurisdiction to conduct a formal investigation of a matter, they will simultaneously send an email to the complainant and respondent notifying so and requesting that each party schedule to meet with the assigned CO investigator. We call this email a jurisdictional notice. This email will contain information about the process, rights and responsibilities, as well as resources available. The notification email to the respondent will contain a brief summary of the allegations brought against them. The email to the complainant will also contain that brief summary of allegations. During initial meetings with complainants and respondents, CO will also discuss a party's ability to seek supportive measures. These measures are free of charge to the complainant or the respondent and are available before or after filing a complaint or if someone files an informal complaint. Informal complaints are available if someone wishes to obtain supportive measures but does not want a formal investigation into the matter. Following the initial meeting with a complainant, CO will provide them with a CO discrimination or harassment complaint form and witness list to complete and return to the investigator. If additional information is needed, the investigator will be in touch. Following the initial meeting with the respondent, CO will provide them with a CO discrimination or harassment response form and witness list to complete and return to the investigator. The CO investigator will contact the respondent if more information is needed. Complainants and respondents can provide the investigator with additional information and evidence up to and until the CO investigator issues an investigative report. Following issuance of the investigative report, CO will only accept evidence or witnesses not reasonably available to the parties prior to issuing the investigative report. Following the evidence gathering stage of the investigation, CO will review the investigative record to determine if the case is appropriate for an administrative hearing. All or part of the complaint may be dismissed if it falls within certain criteria for mandatory or discretionary dismissal. While dismissals often occur following party and witness interviews, a dismissal can occur at any time during the investigative process. CO will issue a mandatory dismissal in instances where alleged conduct does not meet the definition of sexual harassment under University Policy 2740, the alleged conduct did not occur within UNM's education program or activity, or the alleged conduct occurred outside of the United States. It will also occur in instances where the alleged conduct is not jurisdictional to CO. CO will issue a discretionary dismissal in instances where a complainant notifies CO or the Title IX coordinator in writing that they want to withdraw the formal complaint or any allegations in their complaint, or if the respondent is no longer enrolled or employed by UNM, or where there are specific circumstances that prevent CO from gathering evidence sufficient for a decision maker to reach a determination. For example, if the alleged misconduct is not targeted at a specific individual, if there is no nexus between alleged misconduct and a protected status. Either party may appeal a CO dismissal for one or more of the following reasons: if there was a procedural irregularity that affected the outcome, if there was new evidence that was not reasonably available when the dismissal was issued or determination of responsibility was made that could affect the outcome, or the Title IX coordinator, investigator, or decision maker had a general or specific conflict of interest or bias against the complainant or respondent that affected the outcome. Regardless of a dismissal, both parties remain eligible to seek supportive measures. If CO does not dismiss the case, CO will provide an investigative report to the complainant and respondent. This investigative report contains the complainant and respondent statements, witness statements, and all evidence obtained. The purpose of this report is to objectively state all relevant evidence, including exculpatory and inculpatory evidence, and outline disputed and undisputed facts. The investigative report will premise that respondent did not engage in discriminatory conduct until the determination of responsibility is made. After the investigative report is issued, the parties will have 10 business days to submit any new relevant factual information to be included in the final investigative report. A party's response may include corrections or clarifications to the party's own statement, questions for the other party or witnesses, along with any additional evidence or witnesses not reasonably available to the parties prior to issuing the investigative report. The new information obtained will be included as part of the record in the final investigative report, which will be issued to the parties within 5 business days of receiving parties' responses or the deadline of the 10 business days. After CO issues a final investigative report, CO will forward the investigative file to the UNM hearing coordinator to begin the administrative hearing process. CO will also close the investigative file and provide notice of closure to the party. Best efforts are made to complete the CO investigative process within 60 calendar days from the date CO notified the parties that they accepted jurisdiction of the matter. At the administrative hearing, a UNM hearing officer is tasked with determining whether a UNM policy had been violated using the preponderance of the evidence standard. Preponderance of the evidence means that the relevant evidence gathered during an administrative investigation demonstrates that it is more likely than not that a policy violation occurred. Sanctions can range from a verbal or written reprimand to expulsion or termination. Parties can appeal CO dismissals as well as the UNM hearing officer final determinations to the UNM president within 7 business days of the date the CO dismissal or final determination was issued. The president will consider an appeal only if the appeal alleges one or more of the extraordinary circumstances listed in Section 10 of the Discrimination Grievance Procedure, or DGP. If an individual files an appeal of the final determination, CO and the hearing officer will be informed of the appeal. The hearing coordinator will notify the other interested parties that an appeal has been filed. The party who is not filing an appeal will be given 5 business days to submit an impact statement to the hearing coordinator for consideration. If an appeal alleges that CO or the hearing officer have not followed proper procedures, those parties will be given the opportunity to respond to the allegation. Best efforts shall be made to issue a decision within 20 business days after the appeal is received. If the appeal is considered, the president may decide to uphold the CO dismissal or final determination in its entirety, or may remand all or part of the appeal determination to the hearing officer or CO for additional proceedings or investigation. Written notice of the president's decision will be provided to the appealing party, the hearing officer, and CO. All other parties will be simultaneously notified of the decision by the hearing coordinator. If the president denies an appeal of the final determination or upholds that final determination without change, the hearing officer and coordinator may take whatever further action they deem is warranted on the matter, including but not limited to forwarding its final determination to the appropriate disciplinary bodies or administratively closing the matter. All participants in the CO process are protected from retaliation. If you believe you experienced an adverse employment or academic action for participating in a protected civil rights activity, please let CO know as soon as possible. Protected civil rights activities include participating in a CO process, making a good faith report of discrimination or harassment, defending against discrimination or harassment, or making an external report of discrimination or harassment. CO may look into the report as a separate investigative matter. If they haven't done so already, the CO investigator will provide you a link to or a copy of the CO Discrimination Grievance Procedure, or DGP, as well as an analysis of claims document. The DGP provides more information about CO processes. The analysis of claims describes the criteria used when evaluating a civil rights claim. Thank you for watching this informational video. If you have any questions about the CO process, please direct them to your assigned investigator.